Hello YouTube! Welcome back to World of Tanks. This time I'm playing in the Tier 8 American heavy tank, the T32. Now, I'm just going to throw down a disclaimer right at the start. I got pretty lucky in this game, on several different occasions. But, you know, that's part of World of Tanks. You complain about RNG when it's in favor of the enemy, and you cherish it when it's in your favor. That's just the way it is. As it stands, I honestly really enjoy this tank. Some people really complain about it because the gun's not very powerful, but the turret armor is just... oh my god, the turret armor is so good! It's incredible! And the fact that you have good turret armor and good gun depression is pretty incredible as well. Yeah, there's other tanks that have good turrets, some of the Soviet and Chinese tanks, but most of those tanks don't have 10 degrees of gun depression, but the T32 does. And unlike something like a Centurion, you don't really have turret weak spots in this tank. There is a cupola, but if you're using your gun depression, the cupola is almost impossible to hit. So at the start of this game, I'm headed north. I was looking at my team. We've got an IS-3 and an IS-6. They're going towards the little town area in the southwest, and I was feeling fairly comfortable that I could go elsewhere, that I didn't need to be down on that corner. And the T32 is not a great brawling tank anyway, so I was pretty happy to be heading up here where there's lots of hills, lots of places where I can get hulled down and make use of that awesome turret. So I'm pushing up here. We've got some good support, but it's from a lot of light tanks, so I'm kind of the spearhead here is kind of what I was thinking. And this IS-3 gets spotted. Good work by our scouts.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
Unfortunate that the space side armor of the IS-3 ate that shot, or maybe it was his tracks. Either way, I didn't do any damage. But right there, I think that was artillery. My teammates put some big damage on him, which is great. It's also this 111, who I'm gonna take a punt at just for the giggles. He misses me, I miss him. That's just gonna be... we'll have to revisit him later, I'm sure. So pulling up here, you're going to start to see the way I play the T32 to try and make use. You know, I pause, checking, trying to keep myself hull down before I, make sure there's no enemies before I expose any of my hull. And even when I'm poking around rocks like this, I'm trying to keep my hull very, very strongly angled. And honestly, that's a fairly lucky shot, but even if I'd seen some return fire, I have some confidence that either my turret would have certainly bounced, or even my well-angled hull could have bounced, certainly a Walker Bulldog, but maybe an IS-3, so I'm going to pull up here, but he's pulling back, obviously. I go ahead and kind of push past this 5916. As the heavy tank here, I would really like to have the corner, and he can't really make use of the corner in a thinly armored light tank, so I went ahead and pulled up. As it stands, the IS-3 doesn't seem like it's pushing out, although, wouldn't you know it, as soon as I move, he pops out. But he doesn't shoot at me. He's slow on the draw. He didn't have his gun pointing in the right direction, and the Bulldog doesn't pin me. So I get down to the low ground below his gun depression, and I feel fairly safe here. I don't mind pushing my turret up in front of something like an IS-3. And I can pen up through his side if he gives me enough of an angle. So, not really very good side scraping on his part. And I really don't have to expose anything other than my turret. That time I clipped his upper hull, and it was a shame to get my gun knocked out in return, but I didn't take any actual health damage, and I can put that gun back in with my repair kit. It'll be a shame later on if I get tracked, but you do what you gotta do. And I can move back and forth along this ridge so that I'm only ever showing my turret. And there's just no way in hell any of these things are gonna pin my turret. Cromwell probably can't even pin my hull. But the IS-3, he's got 226 pen. Can't pen the turret though. And he comes out. This was not the greatest IS-3 player. Wait for it. There's his side armor. You know, the T-32's gun might struggle with him if he gives me the front and just exposes only his pike nose, but he's going to give me shots into the side. I can absolutely take advantage of that, even with 198 pen, which isn't that great for a Tier 8 heavy. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Good enough to pen the side of a 111, though. And so he's kind of the big tank left on the enemy team up here. The enemy team have some stuff down on the bottom. But we've still got plenty of tanks, and we have the numbers advantage right now. And I can see that crumble on my map. Honestly, if he had come around real quick, he would have caught me off guard. But he hesitated, and I got to thinking, you know, he's probably going to come behind me. And so I go ahead and preemptively turn around and start heading up this hill. Kind of trying to aim in case he comes around, but oh, there he is.
They're knocked out.
You know, I flinched that pretty good. You could see my aim wavering pretty bad. Got the shot in though. Sometimes I panic and miss shots like that, even with something like a Cromwell, which isn't that much of a threat. If he had gotten around me, if I'd missed that first shot, he could have done some pretty good damage before I would have been able to reload. As it stands, I'm still full health. Come up again. I'm gonna kind of poke the corner, trying to expose only my very well-angled upper glacis and my turret, but I don't see the 111. I don't know where he's gone, so I'm going to kind of push down. I've got this T28 prot nearby, although T28s are very slow. And looking, kind of thought I'd see him by now, but he doesn't seem to be where he is. I was thinking he probably pulled back around that rock and more towards the middle. So I'm heading up there. I'm going to try and kind of chase him down since I feel like I have an advantage and need to make a play. And then, oh, hey, there he is. But I can back right down into this ground and get my turret. Oh, he's pulling back. So I decide, okay, I'll just go for it. I'll put pressure on him. I feel like I need to make the move. And I hit him on the move, which is lucky, and he bounces off me, which is lucky. So I did say that was gonna be a factor here. Can't really get my gun down. I could maybe find a spot where I could shoot his turret, but that's kind of futile. And I decided I'm going to go for it. I'm going to pressure this guy. If I take some damage, it's fine. I got full health. Boom. Okay, I put my shot into his side. I was... Honestly, that maybe should have pinned sometime that wouldn't, so that's a bit lucky. And I was trying to push him out to where my T28 prot could shoot him. And the prot did shoot him, eventually, but I took an extra hit. And so I was really hoping that I'd be able to get away with that without taking another hit. But I had full health. I'm still at about half health. It's alright. Kind of lucky to spot the artillery there. One of the other nice things of the T32, in addition to the very strong turret and the good gun depression, this tank has a very nice view range for a heavy tank. And so I caught that artillery, which was lucky. It would have been a real pain to have to go chase him down later if I hadn't seen him. And it would have been a real shame to take an artillery shell right in the engine deck and take a lot of damage. So I'm looking at the map. I see that there's a charioteer right on top of our cap. There's a Lerva that we haven't seen in a while who's probably going to be headed for our cap. So I think I gotta head back. It's no good. Like if I head for their cap, but they start capping just a little bit before me, we're done. Because I'm not very fast. I can't get back. T28's even slower. And this T28 is saying switch to HE, and I think he's absolutely right, so I go ahead and swap over. Sometimes I forget to switch to ammunition types that are more appropriate. Now he asks for a push here, and he's actually asked for a push several times. And I was thinking, you know, push the base, push the flank, like the strategic maneuver push. It didn't occur to me till after the fact that he wanted me to actually push his tank. So I said affirmative, and then he's like, really? So, whoops, my bad. Didn't understand what you're saying there. As it stands, somebody needs to get back and reset, and I'm the faster vehicle, so I don't think it would have been a very good idea for me to push him anyway. I get the reset with just a little bit of HE damage on the turret of Lova, and it's a good thing that I had loaded HE, because that probably would have bounced with AP, and the resets are going to make this a fairly comfortable reset. Also, HE is very good against thinly armored tanks like the Charioteer, and he had very little health left anyway. Now it's just the Lerva. I'm not worried about the cap. I'm going to have multiple chances even if I mess this up. And you know what? I bounced, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to get more shots before he caps out. So I'm just going with the AP. I don't need APCR or anything. Lower plate. Nailed it. No problem. I'm really only exposing my turret again because that's what you do in a T32. No problem. He bounces off me. I'm not worried. He starts to move up. I can't really get a shot at his lower plate. I try it anyway, and I dump it into the ground. Doesn't matter. I've got a lot of health. He doesn't. We're not under any pressure. Move up here. Nah, only turret shots. I'm pretty sure all he can hit is my turret. Oh, yep, bounced off my turret. So I'm going to need to move forward to where I can shoot his hull. And,
Penetration.
that one I was trying to get for the hull, but I didn't quite get the gun down far enough and hit his turret. But my T28 buddy comes in and finishes him off. Again, I'm in a little dip, and I think I'm hull down. I'm feeling very confident about that. So, yep, I was very happy with that game. So now, looking at the score screen, it was a very good game, and I was very happy with it. Like I said, got lucky, but managed to secure that defender medal. Mostly we didn't have too much trouble. We got back quick enough. I was able to comfortably reset the cap, did quite a lot of damage to numerous enemy tier 8 heavies, as well as a couple of their lower tier and more thinly armored vehicles. Looking at the team score, quite strong on damage. We had some very good plays from the M41 Walker Bulldog. The T28 prototype did fairly well too, both in terms of damage and kills. I believe he was actually stock or partially stock. The guys that we had in the town, not all of them did all that much damage, but they held their ground for quite some time. They delayed the enemy for quite some time, so that was good for us. The enemy charioteer played a very good game, so it was good that our team did quite a lot of damage to him, and we didn't have to worry about him as much as at the end. It maybe would have been a better play for him to stay away from the cap and try and shoot in when we tried to reset the larva. But as it stands, good game. I was happy with it. Detailed report. Mostly the gun performed just fine. I had some shots that missed, but honestly, most of the shots were shots that I took while moving or while aiming at small targets. Mostly got pens, too. I was a little worried when I saw the IS-3 coming up there because they can be very difficult to pen from the front. But that IS-3 got hammered by some of my teammates, and then I was able to put some shots into his side armor. My armor held up very well. The only damage I took was when I bum rushed the WZ-111, and that was kind of a calculated risk on my part. I wanted to pressure him and force him into the line of fire of my T28 ally. And I had a lot of health to spare, and I felt like our cap was threatened, so I wanted to take him out quickly. So otherwise, I was able to remain hull down against basically everything that I faced. And T32s are almost impossible to pen when they're like that. And indeed, I bounced a reasonable amount of damage. Not enough. I didn't take enough hits total to contest a steel wall, but I'm happy with that performance. Defense points were great. I did get some spots. That was kind of interesting. And then relatively good credits. Most of the tier 8s have very expensive ammunition, and the T32 is not really an exception. And missing and bouncing shots does hurt. But I didn't die, so I didn't take a full repair bill, and still made some money. In terms of XP, it was a very healthy XP payout for me. And, whoops, wrong one. That 1150 base XP is very nice. So, that was a game in a T32, demonstrating what can happen when you go hull down in a tank like this. And how you can bully other tanks, even other tier 8s, by only exposing very strong turret armor. And how it's not a big deal if you miss a shot or bounce a shot with a relatively poor gun in a T32, because if you're hull down, they can't hurt you either. You can take as many shots as you need. I was fairly happy with my map awareness in that match, keeping aware of the pressure on our cap, on the various enemies that were popping up, watching for the Cromwell who was maybe going to come behind me, and that's just skills that can make you better at World of Tanks as well. So I'm going to leave this game here. I'm going to sign off. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.